G'day and welcome to another video. In today's lesson we will learn how to make this really cute basket. It is very easy to make. It uses the half double crochet and single crochet stitch. I've also added a flower, the Dahlia flower from My Hobby Is Crochet. I will put all the links for the flower below. You are going to need 2 7-ounce skeins of yarn, which is a 7-ounce skein. This whole project is worked with 2 strands of yarn held together, and I only had that much left from each ball, so you're going to basically use the whole thing. Of course, if you don't want to make yours as big as mine, you won't need as much yarn. This can hold quite a few balls of yarn. So as you can see, we've got 6 balls of yarn in there. You could probably fit another 2 in there, but I just thought I'd just stuff some in there so you can see how many we can hold. So you can use this as a basket. Our supplies we're going to need are 2 strands of yarn. I've got worsted weight, that's also equivalent to 8 ply. You're going to need Our supplies we're going to need are 2 strands of yarn. I've got worsted weight, that's also equivalent to 8 ply. You're going to need a needle with a rather large eye, makes it a lot easier to thread your yarn, a pair of scissors and a crochet hook. Normally it recommends an eye or a 5.5mm hook for that one, for just one strand, but I'm going to use a 6.5mm or a case size hook. I have quite loose tension, so this is probably a smaller hook than what you may need to get tight tension. You may need to use a bigger hook. Just do a couple of, like about 10 or so stitches, and you'll know if it's tight or not. You want your stitches reasonably tight because you want it to be quite firm, because you want the basket to stand up. So grabbing your yarn, we're going to be using 2 strands at once. I'm just using the same colour, it'll make it easier for the video, but of course use what you want. Make your slip knot however you like to make yours. There's plenty of different ways to do them. Sorry, I forgot to mention we also need a stitch marker as well. So popping that aside, we won't need that just quite yet. What we need to do, you can use a magic ring or you can chain 4. And then join to make a circle with a slip stitch. We're going to be working into the centre of the circle. Or you can use a magic ring, it's completely up to you. We're going to chain 1, and this project uses mainly half double crochet, and we can use single crochet when we get to the top of the basket, but the main part of it is worked in half double crochet. So that's yarning over, going into the centre of your ring, yarning over, pull up a loop. Now when we use 2 strands of yarn, these 2 strands here are counted as 1, they're counted as 1, and that's counted as 1. So we've got 3 loops on our hook, even though technically we've got 6. Okay, so that's 3 loops on your hook. Yarning over and pulling through all 3 loops. So pull through all of those loops, and that's your half double crochet. So I'll show you again. Yarn over, go into the centre of the loop, yarn over, pull up a loop, yarn over and pull through all loops. Altogether we want 12 half double crochets into the centre. So that's 2. We're not going to count the chain as our starting stitch. 3, 4. I'm working over my tails as I go. 5. 'm just going to grab the ends there and pull so I can keep working over them. So how many is that? That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, and we need 12 altogether. Ugh, lost count. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Oh, I need to do another one. One, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Now, you can join if you would like to, but I'm not going to be joining. Where's that middle? There we go. I'm not going to be joining these rows together. Just want that at the back. Okay, so we're not joining our rows, so therefore we do need our stitch marker now, because, well, personally I just lose count where I'm up to. So if we've got a stitch marker, it's going into our first stitch. It's going to remind us when we get back around that we've done one whole round. Okay, so what we need to do, into the first stitch, we're going to work 2 half double crochets. So yarning over, going into that first stitch. 1. Place your stitch marker on that stitch, so when we come back around we know where we are. So 2, so we need to go back into the same stitch as before, to there, and work 2. Every stitch around we're going to work 2 half double crochets. I'll meet up with you when we're up to our stitch. So on this round we're going to have 24 stitches, and so far I've got 22, and then we've got a stitch that's left here, so we need 2 in there, so 22 plus 2 is 24. Aha, I can add up. So that's 24 stitches. So now what we want to do, each row we're moving this stitch marker. Excuse me. A frog in my throat. So we're going to pull that stitch marker out. And this next row we work 1 stitch, so it's a half double crochet into the mark stitch, place the stitch marker back in, and on this row we work, so we had increase in every stitch, and we're going to increase in every second stitch. So this is 1 stitch by itself, that's 1 half double crochet. In the next stitch we're going to work an increase, so that's 2 half double crochets. This yarn keeps splitting. So we're working 2, so that's 1 and 2. So into the next stitch we want to work just 1 half double crochet. Into the next stitch we want to work 2 half double crochets, so another one into the same stitch. Into the next stitch it's 1 half double crochet. So can you see that in every second stitch? So we've got an increase here, then we've got 1, then we've got an increase, and then we've got 1. And so in every second stitch it's an increase, so we need to do an increase here. And then 1 by itself. Increase. Now if you've made a hat before, we're following the basic increasing method that we use when we make a hat. So we've got an increase, and then it's 1 into the next one. And we're going to repeat this all the way around until we get back to the stitch where our stitch marker is, or the stitch before our stitch marker. So I'm coming up to my stitch marker, and if you end your row on an increase, it means that you've done the right thing. But I've just noticed there's a loose thread there, so that means I haven't captured all the loops when I've pulled through. So you've got to be careful of that too. Just make sure you're grabbing all the loops. So that's one by itself. It means that when I've yarned over, I've only sort of grabbed one loop or something. Okay, so the last stitch, there's our stitch marker stitch, but we've still got one here, and we work an increase. And you will finish each round on an increase. So our next row, we're going to do an increase in every second stitch. So move Mr. Stitch Marker out, put in a half double crochet, put that back. So in every second stitch, that's one, sorry, did I say every second stitch before? I meant every third stitch. Sorry about that. So we've got one half double crochet in this stitch, one half double crochet in the next stitch, and then two half double crochets in the next. We want to go one half double crochet in this stitch, into the next stitch, one half double crochet, and two into the next one. So over the next two stitches we're going to work one half double crochet into the next stitch. We're going to work two half double crochets into the next two stitches, work one half double crochet, and into the next stitch work two half double crochets, and we're going to repeat this all the way around. And if at any time you find, so this is going to lay flat, if at any time you find that this is going wrinkly, so it'll sort of, it might sit like that and it's going to look like a, you know, really not like a flat circle, it's going to be like that. What it means is we've got too many stitches, or your hook size is wrong, or your yarn is the wrong thickness for your hook. It could be a number of reasons. It could also mean that you've worked your stitches wrong here and there's too many stitches, so too many increases. If at any stage it starts to do that, as soon as you notice, it won't lay flat. So this will lay flat. As soon as you notice it's doing these ones, put in one row. You may even need two, maybe three, depending on how wrinkly it's gone, of just one stitch in each stitch. So don't do any increases, just one stitch in every stitch around the outside. Okay, and work a row with that. You may need to work, like I said, you may need to work 3 rows if you've got a really crinkly circle, and that should help you. It should help you quite a lot actually. It should make it lay flat. Alright, so we're going to repeat the increase in every third stitch. And we're going to repeat this all the way around until we get back to the end of our round. So we're up to the end of the round and we've got one stitch left, and I know that that's an increase because my stitches have all worked out. So the next round we are going to work an increase. So each row we had an increase in every stitch. The next row was an increase in every second stitch, and the row we just did was an increase in every third stitch. So guess what comes next? Increase in every fourth stitch. And it pretty much just continues on like that. So every fifth, every sixth, every seventh, every time you go up a row, you just add one more in between. So the first stitch is a one by itself. put the stitch marker back. And how good are these stitch markers, hey? They remind you to stop that row, that round. I'd be lost without it. So we've got to do 1, 2, 3. I'm just checking to make sure I'm on the right round. Yes, so it's 3 by themselves and then an increase. So 1, 1 by itself, that's number 2. Another one by itself is number 3, and then an increase. Just grabbing some yarn. So this is a great stash buster project because we're using 2 strands of yarn at the same time. So it's 1, 2, 3, and an increase. So repeat this all the way around, working an increase in every 4th stitch. So we've finished on an increase, and the next row is going to be an increase in every 5th stitch. So we're going to have, instead of 3 in between each increase, we're going to have 4 stitches. So remove that one, put 1 stitch, place that back, so that's 2, 3, 4, and then an increase. One, 2, 3, 4, and then an increase. And repeat this all the way around until we get back to the beginning. So we are going to continue on until you have the width that you want your basket. And like I said, remember, if it's crunching up, it'll do that and it'll be all wavy. Put those rows of just 1 stitch in each and then work another row of increase. See how I'm like giving it a massage? When you do that, if it lays flat, then you're all good. So the next round, we just had 1, 2, 3, 4, and then an increase. Now it's going to be 5 and then an increase. So it's 1, oops, make sure you're getting both threads. That's 2, 3, 4, That was 5, wasn't it? We'll just make sure. 1, 2, 3, 4. Yes, we need 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then an increase. And you're going to repeat that all the way around till we get back to our stitch marker. And then if you want to make yours bigger, each round we'll add one more half double crochet between your increases. So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. The next row will be 6 and then an increase. Next row will be 7, then an increase, and so on. And make it as wide as you want. I'm probably going to add 2 or 3 more rows, and then it's time to start on the sides of the basket. So I've kept working until I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 half double crochets between my increases, and with 2 strands of worsted weight yarn or 10 ply yarn, and what was I using, a 6.5 hook, it has worked out to be approximately 27.5, 28 centimeters, or just under 11 inches wide. So we've finished with all our increases and everything, and now we're just going to work the sides of our basket. And to do that, we don't do any more increasing, and we just work 1 half double crochet in each stitch, but we still move the stitch marker up so we know where we have to go into our row. So taking that out, working a half double crochet stitch, and then every stitch around we're working 1 half double crochet stitch with no more increasing at all. Now we've finished with our increases. So we will just continue around working the sides of the basket as high as you want. Each row just move up your stitch marker, and I will catch up with you when we have the sides of our basket complete. If you are going to add handles to your basket, you may want to stop about 2 inches shorter than you want the height of your basket. But if you're not really worried on the extra height that the handles add, then just stop where you feel like your basket's high enough.